Good morning, everyone. My name is Paco, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. If you're new to these broadcasts, we get together every morning at 10:30 in the morning to look at headlines from places near and far, and also to connect with one another and to have a nice cup of coffee. Today is a great day for a couple of reasons. Number one, today is Ella Fitzgerald's birthday. And number two, we have a very special guest waiting in the green room. So we're going to skip our usual hellos until later. And I want to introduce you to a very, very wonderful guest. He is a New York-based pianist, coach, conductor, arranger, and composer. He works in theater and concerts around the world. He was the associate conductor of Sondheim on Sondheim and Avenue Q on Broadway. And off Broadway, he has been the music director of an absurd number of musical productions. So he is well versed he's a walking encyclopedia when it comes to composers and performers alike. In addition, he performs regularly in New York's cabaret scene. And here in Puerto Vallarta, he has been gracing us for several seasons with his performances at Incanto. I would like to welcome Mr. Mark Hartman. Mark, good morning. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning, Paco. So nice to see you. How's everything?
Everything is good. It's nice to know that you're still here in Puerto Vallarta. And before we dive into our topic today, how are you doing?
Oh, thanks for asking. I'm doing just fine. I'm incredibly grateful, first of all, to be in Puerto Vallarta. I couldn't have wound up at a nicer sort of place to be when everything in the world shut down. It's of course unusual to be in another country, in a country different than your own, when suddenly everything has to stop and you have to decide what the next 2-3 months of your life are going to look like, and where you go and what you do. But I've been here, and if one must shelter in place, what a beautiful place to be sheltering in. And some of the warmest and nicest and friendliest and greatest people I know are in PV. So I'm happy to be here.
Now let's dive into the whole world of live performances. So much has changed for us. Both.
I was going to say, I remember those.
So much has changed, both for those of us that enjoy them and those of us that have the pleasure and the privilege of being on stage from time to time. You are so connected to both New York and Puerto Vallarta when it comes to live performances. What do you see going on?
Wow. I think I posted, I think it was 2 days ago now. Oh my God, so many amazing live streams today. There was a live stream I'd been watching that a friend of mine did the night before that wound up being 3 hours long and was a series of him eating progressively hotter and hotter chicken wings.
Okay.
And then doing a number as a benefit to raise money for service workers in his community, and that was one of the most entertaining streams I've seen in quite a while, actually. But it was so long that I missed two others by two other friends that I had to back up. Everyone is doing a stream today, and they're all brilliant and wonderful in their own ways. And I couldn't be happier to see people continuing to produce, and just to sort of feel like I can still see my friends do their thing, whatever their thing may be.
So it's amazing because this whole business of Zooming or live streaming is something that was only familiar to some of us that were involved in using these tools one way or another. All of a sudden, everybody's doing it. What can you tell me about what makes a successful live stream from a musician's point of view? I mean,
Mm.
what keeps you glued to a screen when somebody else is doing a live stream?
Um, well, okay, I think the first thing is audio quality.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone, I mean, we're all kind of, there's no such thing as let me order this great new mic from Amazon right now because, how many weeks away is it? So, Facebook Live and most other of the live streaming technologies allow you to record or do a test before you go live. I would do that about 3 or 4 times in the day or two before you're going to do your live stream. You don't want to be doing your test 10 minutes before you go on because, oh my word, you're going to have a problem. And you may or may not like what you hear, what you see. So don't be afraid to test and test again. I spent a day and a half learning a new software for a live stream with Enrique de Allende last week that we did for the workers at Incanto, the bartenders and wait staff that had been unemployed since March 17th. And we did a lovely benefit there. Well, I decided to use a new piece of software, and it took me about 72 hours to learn the software and figure out what I was going to do. And then I spent 2 days before the live stream testing it all day here at this very setup that you see before you, behind you, which happens to be the kitchen table in my condo. Then I spent the next day testing it at Incanto, at the venue, just by myself, testing over and over and over again, trying to get an audio setup. Finally, we did the live stream, and it turned out reasonably well. Although I found an audio fix that was even better the next day.
I am
Of
actually,
course,
I can certainly relate to this for all the nice
for
people.
obvious reasons.
Exactly. For all the nice people that are joining us this morning, and we'll skip our good mornings for the time being. Um, I agreed to call Mark 2 minutes before the live stream began, and I called Mark, and lo and behold, Mark couldn't hear me. So it's 2 minutes before we go live, and ever since I started going live, I've I've wanted to go live when it's time to go live, and I went into a little mini panic because Mark couldn't hear me,
Worse.
and you're like seconds before you're supposed to stream, and and then all of a sudden you realize that people can't hear you, and you start panicking and so forth and so on, which brings me to an interesting point. One of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of people that start doing live streams these days is that they'll go live and then they'll stare at the screen thinking, well, I'm going to see who's coming in, I'm going to see who's arriving. And that may be fun when you watch the stream for the first time, but then, for people that are watching the stream later on in the evening or another day, those first 5 minutes in which you're just sort of looking to see who's there turn out to be the first incentive for people to move on with their lives.
Right, right. Unless you're one of the people being spoken directly to, being said hello to, no one cares. Now, I do think it's important to give people time to join, unless you're doing a regular show when people know exactly when to tune in, and it's someone like yourself who is reliable, who's going on at the time when they say they're going on, well, within 45 seconds or so. Um, you know, uh, unless you're someone that people are tuning in directly for a bang, this is when it's going to start. I like to tell people to start their live stream a couple of minutes before and not to be in the frame, and give people time to join before you actually start the meat of your content. Um, if you can have some nice music, that's great. There are a few There are a few sorts of now. I know that you use Ecamm, right? Is that what we're going through this morning?
Ecamm Live. Yes, we're using Ecamm
Ecamm
Live.
Live.
Yes.
Fabulous. I use OBS. There's also a great one called StreamYard. There are several great pieces of software out there. Some of them will allow you to do a banner or a full screen piece of media, even an intro if you want to edit one of those before your live stream starts. You don't have to be a TV producer, but you certainly have to care about the experience that your audience is having, not just the fun that you're having watching, seeing who is coming on online.
Speaking
The
of,
other thing.
yes, please.
Oh, go ahead. No, please. Go ahead.
Speaking of watching who's going live, a couple of mutual friends have joined in. Gina
Oh, lovely.
Presley asked,
Hi, Gina.
can performers and musicians collaborate in different places in this new medium?
We're working on it. Is the short answer. There are a couple of applications, a couple of web apps that are letting us play and sing with each other a bit more in real time. But there's often a delay. Paco, as you know, with Facebook Live, there's a 20-second delay between the time we say it and the time people see it on their screens.
Of course.
And
yes.
then of course, there's the same 20-second delay from the time someone types a comment until we see it on our screens. And of course, I'm just here with you via Skype, so I'm not seeing the comments yet. I don't have a separate. I don't have the live stream set up beside me like I usually do.
Well, please know that
it was a choice between
wonderful.
my iPad or my coffee.
Oh, this is wonderful. Now, let's go back to this whole idea, because you do so many things, Mark. It's like we could spend a lot of time talking, but let me take advantage of your wonderful knowledge and expertise as a show producer. And again, because I see a lot of friends that I know and love doing lives, and some of them are very successful at connecting through this new medium. Others are not so much. Let's say that I'm a musician and I want to do a live, and I wanted to be successful. I want to keep people engaged, because this is one of the most important things. I mean, you can have people be engaged for the first few minutes, and if you stop holding on to them or vice versa, you're going to lose their interest. So what kind of things go into your mindset when it's time to think about putting together a live show for social media?
The first thing is, what is the content? What are we really actually going to be doing? What is the meat of it? Not who is in it, because people are interesting and they're lovely, but what are we doing? We're inundated with content right now. Some of it excellent quality, some of it mediocre, and some of it quite amateurish. And that can be fun. That can be so much fun and wonderful. So there's nothing judgmental about what your level of streaming is. It's just like, what is your content actually? For me, it has more to do with, is this something I would be interested in watching? And that is incredibly subjective, of course, but at the same time, I think it's worth saying, no, really, what are you doing? What are you doing first? What are you doing second? What are you doing fifth? What is your sequence? Can you get from one thing to the other quickly? And is everything worth your audience's time? Because there's nothing wrong with a short stream.
Of course.
There's nothing wrong with it being 10 minutes of exquisite content that people will, because we need those bite-sized things. Everything doesn't have to be an hour and a half long to do what we need. In fact, I wish some people would do shorter streams. I love the fact that yours is basically a 30-minute show.
That is.
I love the fact that smaller content. I'm listening to a podcast right now called Bleeding Love, which is a musical that a friend of mine did, and it's like 3 30-minute episodes. It's a new musical, and I highly recommend it. My friend Harris Duran worked on it, and it's it's a podcast. Um, I'm looking for like shorter chunks of material first. Second, what does it look like? What does the thing actually look like? Um, one of the reasons I'm wearing these glasses is I wanted to show, because we were going to be talking about this. Isn't this reflection awful? It's terrible. I hate looking at this sort of thing. Take that stuff off. Don't do it. It's good for me, but because I can see Paco brilliantly. How do you do that? How do you get no glare in your glasses? How are you doing that?
It's very easy. I have a large. Let me put myself in full frame. I have a large reflector directly above my
Yeah,
laptop.
you do.
So if I look up, I can see it, but if I look down, it disappears completely. So it's a matter of figuring out the best way to do it. And I hear you. I mean, I need my glasses to be able to operate, and it's difficult if you don't have the proper lighting. And you're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
I have another
yeah.
question here. Rita Myers, who connects with us regularly, asks, she says she was unaware of the benefit for Encanto staff. How can I get notices for events like this? For that matter, what's going on at Encanto? How are you and Tracy figuring things out? What can we expect to see in the months to come?
Gotcha. Well, first of all, thanks for asking. The benefit was a Facebook Live that was last Tuesday. If you'd like to watch it, it is still up on Incanto Vallarta's page. If you'd like, you can. Well, first of all, you could still go and donate. We're still accepting donations for the bartenders and waiters there. That is at paypal.me/Incanto Vallarta or incantopv@gmail.com if you want to search PayPal that way.
Yes,
Incantopv@gmail.com. Can you splash screen those for us later?
I will add them to the show notes. What I would like to ask you is,
I
right
will.
as we get disconnected, please send me the URL or send me the information, and also send me the link to this wonderful podcast that you mentioned, because I am sure that there's other music theater lovers in town that might be excited to learn about it. Because
You got
anybody
it.
that is doing things, exploring different mediums, and podcasts are something wonderful that not a lot of people follow. I wish more people would get excited of podcasts as a medium. Mark, tell
I
me,
know.
what is happening with your own plans for the next few months? What's going to keep you busy?
Whew. Well, quickly, I don't know how long I'm in Puerto Vallarta. My parents are septuagenarian and in North Carolina. So that means I have to encounter 3 airports to get to them. So airports being what they are, petri dishes. I'm sort of looking at the numbers, and when the numbers sort of rise here to the point that they're declining in North Carolina, I'll try to make the switch. But that's probably going to be 3 or 4 weeks that I'll still be in Puerto Vallarta. I'm living across the street from Incanto, so it's just a really short walk for me to get there to do any content that I need to do. I've done a couple of shows with Sutton Lee Seymour, this benefit for Enrique. You can find out about those sorts of things coming from Incanto by going to Encanto's page, clicking on a video, and checking get notifications when Encanto goes live.
Excellent suggestion.
Yeah. Also, you can find me on Facebook, and I'm sure you've got my URL for the show notes, Paco. Also, my artist page on Facebook, and my Instagram is @Hartman Mark. You can get all the information on what I'm going to be doing in those places because I make certain that it's there. I don't have a like my next live stream scheduled just yet. We're working on a date, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. We're talking about doing bingo from Encanto with Aunt Pearl. So that should be fun, and we're figuring out some logistics on that, and we'll see when that's going to happen. No firm announcements yet, but we'll hope to have one soon. And I'm gonna probably start a kind of happy hour, piano hour from Encanto, maybe 1 or 2 days a week. So we'll look at those. When I'm gonna also be doing a little orchestration for a new musical. Well, not a new musical, sorry, a new orchestration for a musical that's been around for a while, and that's going to keep me busy for pretty much the next several months because it's enormous.
Mark Hartman, what a pleasure to have a conversation with you this morning. We thank you very much for joining us, and we will be so very happy to share all this information with everybody that's watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to bump into you soon here in Puerto Vallarta.
Thank you, Paco. See you soon.
And that was our interview with Mark Hartman. What a pleasure. Um, Good morning, everyone. Now we get a chance to connect and see who's joining us today. Um, how is everybody doing? It's Saturday, and you are all here, and it's wonderful to see you, Eddie, Michal, Sue, Paul, Rita. It's so great to see you all joining us today. And it's also good to see that all these wonderful activities are going on and that the people that we know and love um, continue to produce content for us to enjoy. Let us skip to our headlines now because we have a few, not that many, because I wanted to make sure that we had enough time to converse with Mark. And let me see, where did my headlines go? Seem to have lost my headlines. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Oh my goodness, my headlines have disappeared. Let's see. Ah, found them. There you go. Okay, sorry about that. We have a few headlines to look at today. The first one comes from informador.mx, and what they have to say to us is the fact that, oh, I lost my. There we go. There is no evidence of immunity against coronavirus, says the World Health Organization. For anybody that was considering getting together with people and catching the disease deliberately to build immunity, the World Health Organization has reported that this is not something that's been proven. You cannot build immunity from the coronavirus um, after catching the disease. And in fact, we've started to see reports from around the world that say that people that have been uh, released from medical care are catching the virus again. So don't be getting any crazy ideas here. There's also a study that I've run into that tells us that you cannot, no COVID 19 has been found in semen, which means that you could, in theory, go out and get happy, if you know what I mean, but it's still not a good idea. We've published some links in the past about the pros and cons about going out and having sex with someone, particularly someone that you don't know. It sounds tempting, it sounds sexy, but it's not the best of ideas. If you're having sex with your spouse, of course, a decision that we make for ourselves. But this is interesting information to know. Now, we were talking earlier about how just a few weeks ago nobody knew anything about Zoom and everybody is Zooming now. Well, Facebook doesn't want to be caught out of that game, and Facebook is introducing what they call messenger rooms and more ways to connect. There's an article on Facebook's uh, blog in which they tell us that they're going to be introducing this new tool in which we're going to be able to have Zoom-like conversations on directly on Facebook. There is no date in which this is going to be deployed, and there are no specific countries listed, but they have said that it's going to start rolling out in different countries in the near future. One of you Gary Brown was kind enough to contact me yesterday and share this link about an upcoming event online. This is called Navigating Trauma in Uncertain Times. And I'm going to scroll down to the bottom to tell you a little bit about this. This is hosted by, this is going to feature a number of positive speakers and therapists and counselors. And it is hosted by Emily Joy Rosen, who is an artist, entrepreneur, writer, and transformational junkie devoted to the practice of helping us see our challenges as opportunities for growth. So this is going to be announced next week. I'm going to give you the website so you can sign up if you want to participate in this. And and I don't know if it's going to be expensive or not. There's no specific information, but I will leave the links for you in the show notes so that we can see what this is about. Then I ran into this article that talks about new boozy drinks. And of course, I'm all up for a boozy drink. So the article is set up in galleries. So I click on the gallery, and the first photo that I saw is this new Modelo beer that includes mango and chili. So it's spicy. So my first reaction was, ew, nasty. But then I thought to myself, well, this does sound appetizing. But then I thought to myself, well, has anybody seen this product locally? Or is this one of those crazy things that they're going to release in the United States before we have them here? If you've seen this, let me know because I'm going to run to the supermarket and try it. I love beer, I love mango, and I love chili. So what can go wrong? And my last link for you today comes from the National Theater. Right now, I believe they're streaming the 12th night, Shakespeare's play, and they've started promoting their next live stream, which is Frankenstein. And look at who's starring. Benedict Cumberbatch is one of the actors that is portraying the monster, the creature, they call it. And this is going to be available on YouTube starting the 30th of April. Again, I will leave you the link to the trailer so you can see it. It is absolutely wonderful and absolutely spooky. Let's take a quick look at your reactions and see who's joining us today. Let's see. We covered all this. I think we showed this. Good morning, Elaine. Um, Beth Reynolds says, I stopped watching some lives due to that very issue, the issue of sound. Mark is very correct in saying this. Unfortunately, the nature of the beast is such that as a producer, for example, in this case, I have a special microphone just down here, and we can endeavor to produce the best possible show. But if internet is slow at your end, that can always represent a problem. Um, oh my God, you cannot hear me? Oh, you cannot hear me. Oh no, I just realized you cannot hear me. Ooh, oh no, oh no. I can't believe my sound died on me. Hold on just a second. And here I am gabbing, thinking that you are hearing me. And you missed everything. I can't believe this is happening. Oh my goodness. I hate it when this happens. Let's see, where were we? Where were we? Okay, I don't know when you stop hearing me. My USB microphone just decided to go crazy on me. And it's gone crazy again? Shit. Hold on just 1 second. Hold on just 1 second. This is not fun. Not fun. Not fun when technology decides to go on its own. Okay, this is not going to happen. Eddie Leroy thinks I'm having cute expressions. Jesus Christ, I'm so very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Where did we stop? Did you get any of my headlines? I'll repeat my headlines. I can do that. Yay, everybody can hear me. I am so sorry. I'm going to go over my headlines really quickly because I want to make sure that you get them. They were so wonderful. Again, going back to headlines, um, there is no evidence that you can build immunity from the virus was headline number one. I will share the link in the show notes. Number two, COVID 19 cannot be found in semen. What that doesn't mean that you should go out and get horizontal with people you don't know. Number three, um, now that we're all familiar with Zoom, well, Facebook doesn't want to be out of the game, so Facebook is rolling out their own Zoom like product called Messenger Rooms. It's coming to a browser near you in the near future. Next headline. This came from one of our readers who kindly shared this upcoming workshop called Navigating Trauma in Uncertain Events. This is coming to us um, in next week. It's going to be an online uh, event. It's built with a bunch of coaches and practitioners and doctors and therapists that are going to speak about how to handle ourselves through these times. This is hosted by Emily Joy Rosen, an artist, entrepreneur, writer, and transformational junkie devoted to the practice of helping us see our challenges. Then I showed you this new drink called Modelo Chelada Mango in Chile. It's some kind of beer with mango and pepper. I have not seen it. If you see it locally, please let me know. And last but not least, I showed you this wonderful new live stream that is coming to us from the National Theater. It's going to be Frankenstein with Benedict Cumberbatch performing as a creature on April 30th and John Lee Miller performing as a creature on May 1st. These streams, as we know, are only available for a few days, so these are going to be a lot of fun to watch. And now, speaking of watching, I'm keeping my eyes directly glued on my microphone because I want to make sure that I have sound. How bizarre that sound was not working for me. So I hope we didn't miss much of anything. Let me take a quick look at your comments. Take it from the top, says Sean O'Brien. I love it. Um, well, I don't think I have much more to share with you, and I'm sorry for all the expressions. I sure hope that you were able to hear Mark okay. Once again, I apologize. These things happen from time to time. The good news is that we had a wonderful interview with Mark, um, and I hope you've been enjoying some of the live streams that we have been enjoying. Some of them have been very successful and keep us engaged, others not so much. But it is pretty much the challenge that we face whenever we're standing in front of an audience, be it a camera, like my case, and or be it a live stage. And we certainly hope that we will be able to go and enjoy a lot of these shows live sometime in the near future. Tomorrow, I'm going to be joined by Paul Christ, who, as you know, is a very dear friend of mine. But also, Paul, as a local businessman and community leader, has been very, very busy raising funds for to buy food for families in need, and we're all very grateful for that. And tomorrow he's going to join us live as we see how his campaign on GoFundMe has been going, how much money has been raised, how many communities have been visited, and I very much look forward to that update, as I'm sure you are. Today is Saturday, so go and enjoy yourselves. Go have a great day. Don't forget to keep in mind my coffee supply if you're enjoying these live streams. It's always very much appreciated. Also, keep in mind that all the links that are mentioned become available for you to explore in the show notes. 10 to 15 minutes after we're done with this broadcast, I will update the description so that all the links that I share are there for you to explore, for you to enjoy. Meanwhile, the rest of the day is yours. The rest of the day is mine. I hope you have a wonderful day today, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, for more coffee and headlines. Have a great